Yeah.
Bro, can you open this in English also? Okay, so please repeat after me. Tartyena.
Tartyena.
By excessive development of the third mode of material nature, the mode of ignorance. Swabhavena.
Swabhavena.
By such nature.
By such nature.
Yeah.
By such nature.
Bhagavatanabhi.
Bhagavanabhi.
The abominable navel of the gigantic form of the personality of Godhead.
The abdominal navel of the gigantic
form of
form
the
of the
personality of
personality of
Godhead.
Godhead.
Ashritaha.
Ashritaha.
Those who are situated.
Those who are so situated.
Ubhayoho.
Ubhayoho.
Between the two.
Between the two.
Between the two.
Antaram.
Antaram.
In between.
In between.
In between.
Vyoma.
Vyoma.
The sky.
The
The
sky.
sky.
Ye.
Yea.
All of whom.
All
All
of
of
whom.
whom.
Rudra Prasadam.
Rudra
Prasadam.
Prasadam.
Oh, sorry. This is Rudra Parshadam. Rudra
Rudra
Parshadam.
Parshadam.
Rudra Parshadam.
Associates of Rudra.
Associates of Rudra.
Ganaha.
Ganaha.
Population.
Population.
Okay, now please repeat after me. Tartayena swabhavena.
Tartyena Sabhavena.
Bhagwan abhimashritaha.
Bhagavana Bhimashritaha.
Bhayor antaram vyoma.
Ubhayora Antaram Vyoma.
Ye Rudra Parshadam Ganaha.
Ye Rudra Parshadam Ganaha.
Tartayena swabhavena.
Tartyena Swabhavena.
Bhagwan-abhimashritaha.
Bhagavana Bhimashritaha.
Ubhayorantaram vyoma.
Ubhayorantaram Vyoma.
Ye Rudra Parshadam Ganaha.
Ye Rudra Parshadam Ganaha.
One last time. Tartayena swabhavena.
Tartyena Swabhavena.
Bhagwan-abhimashritaha.
Bhagavana Bhimashritaha.
Ubhayorantaram vyoma.
Ubhayorantaram Vyoma.
Ye Rudra Parshadam Ganaha.
Ye Rudra Parshadam Ganaha.
Okay, so translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Living entities who are associates of Rudra develop in the third mode of material nature or ignorance. They are situated in the sky between the earthly planets and the heavenly planets. Purport. The middle portion of the sky is called Bhuvarloka, as confirmed both by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti and Srila Jiva Goswami. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that those who develop in the mode of passion are situated in the middle region. Those who are situated in the mode of goodness are promoted to the regions of the demigods, and those who are situated in the mode of passion are placed in human society, and those who are situated in the mode of ignorance are placed in the society of animal or ghosts. There are no contradictions in this conclusion. Numerous living entities are also distributed all over the universe in different planets and are so situated in terms of their qualities and the modes of material nature. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhavitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavnavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Are you all there with me?
जी प्रभु जी
Hare Krishna.
Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्णा
So, today we are reading from the third canto, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and it's a very beautiful canto which speaks about the glories of Lord Shiva. And we are sitting on the most auspicious time right now for the fact we're observing Dvadashi, and at the same time, the most auspicious beginning of Mahashivratri today. So these are like two bonanzas put together in one gift, right? So having said that, Lord Shiva is a very unique living entity. I remember in my childhood, I used to refrain going to Lord Shiva temple because I was very scared that if this gentleman lives around the snakes, then how risky it is to go close to him. And the only thing that I saw while growing up in temples was people putting milk over Shivaling and trying to convey their heartfelt messages to Lord Shiva. So I always used to wonder that why are we putting milk over the Shivling? And the second is, by doing so, what benefits or what spiritual merits can be obtained. Until and unless I came to ISKCON, I never knew the glories of Lord Shiva. I never really knew that he's the Vaishnav, the supreme most devotee of Lord Vishnu. And just by worshipping him, we can attract bhakti. In fact, while I started to come to ISKCON, when I was just a college grad, I used to refrain paying my obeisance to other Devi and Devatas, knowing the fact, why should we do that? In ISKCON, we've been taught that Krishna is the only God, and whosoever worships him need not worship anyone else. Like the way we are given analogies of watering the roots of the plant. If the roots are nourished, then the whole plant is nourished. Or for that matter, feeding the stomach. When the food gets into the stomach, if the stomach is healthy and happy, the whole body is healthy and happy. So we need not take care of anything else. And I remember once I was in Haridwar, and we were at some place that had significance for Lord Shiva. And in the class, I had asked the speaker, we being Vaishnavas, could you share some insights on what is the benefit of worshipping Lord Shiva in Vaishnav culture, and why should we worship him? And it's only then that I got to know that Lord Shiva is the supreme devotee of Vishnu. There are so many myths that people have associated with the personality of Lord Shiva, that he's half naked, he drinks wine, or for that matter, he smokes marijuana, stuff like that. But that's also fake. That's such a disrespect to such a pure personality like Lord Shiva. And it has also been observed that mostly his followers are in the modes of ignorance. And for that matter, you would see, while you are trying to offer a flower to Lord Shiva, in the scriptures, there's no such protocol that the flower, which whether has fragrance or no fragrance, actually can be offered. Where in case of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, only flowers with scent or fragrance needs to be offered. So in context to Mahashivratri, a lot of people believe that this is a day when Lord Shiva and Uma Devi or Parvati, they got married. A lot of them also believe of the fact that this was a day when the Lord Shiva had consumed poison from the churning of the sea ocean. Right? But then in Shiv Puran, there's another very beautiful, heart-melting story of how Lord Shiva extends his compassion and kindness to the most sinful living entities. And in very, very brief, I'd like to share this story with you all. So once, in the jungle, there lived a person whose name was Veer. And of course, he was in the jungle, so he was of an insane mentality, right? The only thing that he knew was to kill, harm, and hurt, steal, rob. Why? Because he wasn't taught to the sophisticated or urban ways of lifestyle. And one day, his wife and his parents said, "We're very, very hungry. You need to bring something for us. Because if you don't bring food, we'll die." And in the jungle, there wasn't a supply of fresh fruits and vegetables, probably from Blinkit or Zepto, as we have today. But the only thing that they knew was kill and eat. Just kill and eat. That's it. So, since he was being pushed by his parents and their wife, he said, now I will have to go to figure out a prey, and I will kill and will offer that prey to my parents and my wife so that I can nourish the stomachs of my dependents in the family. So while he was traveling in the jungle, he came across a pond. And across the pond, he saw a big, beautiful tree, and he said, fine, now that I've reached the pond, ideally what I should do is I should wait for the prey to arrive. And when any animal will arrive here, what I will do is I will kill the animal and will take the body of the animal and will offer it to my family so that they can cook and they can satisfy their appetite. And he kept sitting on the branch of a tree, which was very thick, which could not be broken, with a pot in his hand for the fact he was thirsty too. So, from the same pond that he was trying to, the same pond where he was waiting for the prey to come so that he could kill them, he filled the pot with water and sat on the branch of a tree. And then what happened was that he saw, after a very, very long waiting time, one female deer come to the pond for drinking water because she was loitering around in the jungle. And while she was in the jungle, she was thirsty. She came to the pond in search of water. She saw the water, and all of a sudden, she stood her neck up and saw that this hunter was sitting. And this deer happened to question, what do you want? Why are you here? He said, look, I am here because I want to kill you. And I am primarily doing this to satisfy the hunger of my family because we do not have anything else to eat. We only kill animals and we eat them. Now the deer got confused and she thought, what should I do? He is not going to leave me and I cannot escape. So I have to die. Let's have a little conversation in order to figure out ways that I can die a better way. So she started to question. She said, look, I understand that this is what your profession is because you take responsibility of your family and you intend to kill me to satisfy their appetite. But then having said that, you allow me to go back home and meet my husband and children for the last time and designate my children into the lap of my husband so that after my departure from this world, my children are well taken care of. So the hunter says, you know what, you're lying. Who goes, escapes the death, never comes back. But she said, no, I vouch on the fact that if I lie, I give up all my pious credits. I promise you of the fact I'm going to return back here. So after a very, very long conversation, she convinces the hunter that, look, I got to go now, but I'm going to come back. And I promise after I get back here, I'll be all yours. Rakho bhi, maro bhi, jo ichha tohar. Whatever you want. Can you shut the door?
Yeah, of course.
And then what happens is she goes back and the hunter sits to wait for her. In the meantime, her husband comes over in search of his wife. Now, when the husband comes over in the search of his wife, he also sees the deer and starts to question. What do you want, my friend? Why are you here? He says, you know what? I want to kill because my family is hungry. If I don't bring food to them, that is injustice. I won't be taking care of my duties very well, but I really need to kill someone to take the flesh of the dead corpse to my family so that I can fill their bellies. Now, in the course of this conversation with the deer before and now, we all know that during Mahashivratri, there are 4 phases in which the Abhisheka of the Lord takes place. And while he was interacting with the female deer in the first course, the pot of water that he had filled with leaves actually fell the other side and the water started to drop on the shivling that was right next to the tree, which this hunter was unaware of. So in the first phase of the day, when the female deer had arrived, he unknowingly landed up doing Abhishekam for Lord Shiva. Now, in the second phase of the day, her husband arrived. And while talking to him again, his hand got struck on the pot, and that pot tilted. And from there, the water and the leaves started to fell on the Shivalinga. And this is how the second course of the Abhishek took place. Now, in the third phase of the day, that female dear sister happened to arrive there in search of her sister and her sister's husband, brother-in-law. Similar set of conversation happened. And again, he landed up doing the Abhishek for the third phase of the day by water and some leaves, auspicious leaves. And in the fourth phase, the children came searching for the whole parents and their aunt. And then, while interacting with them, the fourth phase of Abhisheka took place with the water and the leaves. And this is how he could, in one day, sitting without eating anything, because he was also hungry, he could bathe the Shivalinga 4 times. Now, all of those family members got together back home and started to discuss, look, we've promised that we will be going and we'll be surrendering ourselves to that hunter. And if we do not keep our promise, we'll be losing all our pious credits. So we need to go back. And everyone was saying, no, you will not go back. You know why? The husband said, I will go. Why? Because the children cannot live without the mother. Right? The children said, no, we don't care. You know, if our parents are going, if our father is going, anyways, the mother will also go and we'll also follow them. And we will accept whatever destiny has awaited in us for us today. So all of them, they happened to reach the hunter, and the hunter was now very surprised that all of these people have come back and they are so simple that they promised me once and eventually they are willing to surrender to me. And just because he had done the Abhishekam of Lord Shiva, you know, his heart had started to transform. For the fact, all right, so for the fact that the benefits of worshipping Lord Shiva on this day of Mahashivratri is that we would have an instant heart transformation. So although he was of a very sinful mentality, despite of that, when he started to unknowingly do Abhishekam for Lord Shiva, he had experienced a transformation of heart. And while seeing everyone coming willingly in close bonded attitude with each other to surrender and to die together, he felt, I'm so sinful. I wanted to kill these people mercilessly, but then these people are so simple that they have come to surrender. It is such a shame that I was involved in such sinful activities. Yet, these people are willing to sacrifice their life just to fill my belly and the belly of my family. And he was contemplating because he had experienced heart transformation, and thereafter he said, no, I'm sorry, I will not kill any one of you. You all may go back, for the fact this is not appropriate. And hearing these words, Lord Shiva emerged out of the Shivalinga and felt extremely happy and blessed that guy, that I bless you, that very soon in your next life, you will be a very close associate of Lord Ram. And Lord Ram will personally bless you to deliver. So the purpose behind sharing this story from Shiva Puran is to induce faith inside us that Lord Shiva is actually non-different than Lord Vishnu. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam says that the only difference between both of them is the difference that we have between the yogurt and the milk. Lord Krishna is milk and Lord Shiva is yogurt. It's made out of milk only. So anyone who with purity will worship Lord Shiva and will follow the 4 regulative principles as recommended by acharyas will for sure go back home, back to Godhead. But it's very sad and unfortunate that in the world today, mostly people associate to Lord Shiva as someone who drinks alcohol and does intoxication, which is very, very sinful. Which is very, very sinful. And to enjoy or extensively engage oneself in sense gratification, knowing the fact that it's allowed. If Lord Shiva can smoke, we can also smoke. If he can drink, we can also drink. Then the fact of the matter is that he even consumed the poison. Why aren't we willing to consume the poison? We aren't willing to do that. Why? Because that's where we want to cap limitations. But that is very, 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 very sinful. If one does that in the pretext of defaming Lord Shiva or in the pretext of taking the activities of Lord Shiva as something which are very, very abnormal or something which is very fallen, he'll be committing a very grave offense against Lord Shiva. Therefore, most of the devotees of Lord Shiva are usually in the modes of ignorance. Why? Because they do not want to follow Lord Shiva as it is. They want to concoct their own convenience and sense gratifying mentality with Lord Shiva's activities and take advantage of that simple, humble personality, Lord Shiva, who is only meditating and serving the way the Lord Vishnu wants him to. Therefore, on this most auspicious day of Mahashivratri, it is very essential for we devotees, number one, to go to the temple and take his darshan, if possible, perform abhishekam, and ensure that we know of his glories. Because by knowing his glories only, we can attract mercy with which we can become good devotees of Lord Krishna. Therefore, every temple, wherever any temple is outside, we'll have temple of Lord Shiva also. Even in Delhi, we have temple of Lord Shiva right outside ISKCON. Even in Gurgaon, even in Mumbai, Juhu. So Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna, they are inseparable and they have unique bonds of love, which are like devotee and divine, and they should be understood with a lot of devotion and surrender. And one must be extremely humble towards approaching Lord Shiva and should beg for mercy. Like the way we were hearing this song, we sang the song today, how we should beg for the mercy of the Vaishnav. With a similar mood, we should beg for the mercy of Lord Shiva so that he can help us getting that love, that like nectar with which for which our minds and our heart is actually hankering for. So I request all of you to, from bona fide authorities, know the glories of Lord Shiva and appropriately worship him and consider him to be an object of meditation so that we can achieve Krishna Prema. Hare Krishna. I want to keep this class very short because 9 I have another meeting and I'll have to head for it. With whatever little I knew about the glories of Lord Shiva, I've shared with you. If there's any question, any clarification or suggestion, please come forward and share.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a special class today. So any devotee has any question, you can ask, you can type in the comment box or you can unmute your mic and ask. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, what is Harihar? There is a combined form of Vishnu and Shiva
Yeah, so
also.
there's this pastime that happened in Mayapur, in Navadvip Mandal actually, right? So while we do parikrama for Navadvip Mandal, we come across a place called Harihara Kshetra, right? Now, which pastime is I cannot remember it, although I've heard it many times, right? But then if you read this book called Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, there the entire pastime is mentioned, and you would see that there's this deity which is now in the temple which is managed by ISKCON, where you have Hari and Lord Shiva. So it's like Krishna and Lord Shiva together being worshipped. And there's some pastime that probably happened there. I'm not too clear about it. I don't want to speculate here, right? But then I've just forgotten. I cannot recall it. But then this place is while we are doing parikrama for Navadvip Mandal. Does that help?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji, it
Krishna.
says that Hari Haraya Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Nama. What is it meant? What is it meant?
Mataji, you know what I'll tell you? So this is the same thing. That's what I said. This pastime I cannot recall right now, but this temple is in Navadvip Mandal while we do parikrama. So most of you, if you haven't been for Navadvip Mandal parikrama, please care to go, and you would see beautiful places, beautiful temples where many of Lord Shiva deities preside and are worshipped, and all of these temples are majorly in the possession of ISKCON. Right. So this particular pastime I cannot recall right now. I've heard it, but then I just cannot get into my memory right now. So anyone, any other question?
Hare Krishna. Any other devotee has any question, you can ask.
Okay. In case if you have no question, then I would request Varun Prabhu from Gurgaon Temple on 25th and 26th of March. We're going to Jaipur for one night. Right. I would request if anyone is interested to join us for Jaipur, may feel free to come over. I can share the details with you. You can share the details in the group, right? So this will be Saturday morning till Sunday evening from ISKCON Sector 45 Temple.
Okay,
Right?
Prabhuji, I'll share the details in the group.
Sure. Right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I wish you all the best, and I also pray to Lord Shiva that he be extremely kind on all of us so that we become good devotees of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So
Hare
we'll
Krishna,
offer
Prabhuji. Dhammad pranam.
Vaishnava Pranam and conclude the session. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Kunj Bihari Bhagwan ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Hare Bol.